All right, there's a shot of the next morning. Still looks good. No dieback, no solvent pops. Everything came out really nice on this one. Little sun hitting the hood there. It's gonna be super bright outside. So this one just got to be put back together. We got to paint the bumper trim black. Got to get a can of bumper trim. Take care of this. Paint all the bumper trim. This is a pretty good friend of mine, Ron Kane. And yeah, he's had this for a while, so he likes this old car here. So we're gonna shine it up for him and you know, give him something to drive that looks pretty decent. And he does a lot of driving, so I'm sure he wants his Honda back. And he just loves this little car. So hopefully he'll get a few more years out of it. We got some of the rust taken care of. We got all the windshield repaired there. We'll get the glass guy out here and have him put the glass in it. It'll probably be the maybe a today thing. I'll give him a call and have that put in. Then I can pop the sunroof in. It can go outside and give me some room. But next couple days we'll get this back to him and get him his car back. So Anthony was wanting to know about waterborne paint, and I was going to give him my take on it. You know, I know it does work good. Matrix has a line called Aqua Base, and it's a copy of the Enviro Base that PPG has, and it's a pretty good system. It's much more compact than the typical mixing system. It's a smaller cabinet. It doesn't have to be agitated quite as much. The toners stay more suspended. The drawbacks with water, of course, is one, the cost. The equipment you need to do the water is a little more expensive. The air has to be a little better, not as much moisture. You need agitators or air to move over the panel or car that you paint to dry the paint, sort of like painting your nails and shaking your hand. A lot of guys use an air blow dryer or some sort of airflow over the part to dry it. I've seen where Milo and Soda Jet are heating the waterborne paint up before they spray it on, and that's helping the flash time quite a bit. So the biggest down draw, or the biggest down on the water, would be the cost, and the flash time. The cycle time's a little slower. But if you got a shop and you have a climate controlled booth, you can speed your flash times up quite a bit, and it's pretty comparable to the solvent base as far as the cycle times. However, the cost issues there, the equipment is a little different. The stainless steel gun parts that you mentioned, and there's some different air cap technologies for the water. But it's not that it's a bad paint. I think people are just reluctant to change. It's definitely coming. I would definitely like to get some water here. It's not really available at our warehouse. We do have certain things, but they don't carry a wide selection of toners and reducers and such, because it's not really big in this market. There's a thing called a clean air map you can get, and you can look at that. The EPA puts it out, and it shows the problem areas, the places with the highest VOC and air pollution, are where they're going to mandate the water first. California, some of New York now, and some of the northern states are going to be the ones that come to the water before we do in the South. I refer to the South as the dirty South. And I don't like to give people a bad name. I let know a lot of the professional shops around my area, a lot of the dealerships have already changed the water because it's just a national program, and there's other dealerships in their group that are using it, and they're using it. And when you're at a dealership, you have the best booths, and equipment's not an issue, and there's plenty of training available and stuff like that. So you can get up to speed on the new product fairly easy if you work at a place like that. Learning how to use it on your own might be a little bit of a learning curve. There are a few guys in the garage that are real proficient at it though. Soda Jet 883, Rich, he sprays the water base. I know Milo's garage sprays it at his house, so he would probably be the best guy to talk to for tips to pull it off in your garage. Milo's pretty inventive, and I'm sure he's got a lot of the things we talked about, but made his own way. The other one is Refinish Network, Jumbo. I know he sprays, I think he sprays Onyx, and that's RM's version of the water base. And I want to say they might have changed over there. You have to go check Jumbo out, but he's really proficient at the water too, and sprays it and has a couple of videos up. Most of the videos that are up are, you know, not the information that's going to be good for you. Like I said, Milo is probably going to be your best bet because he uses it at home, and he can give you some tips, the pros and the cons of trying to use it at your house. But I think it's definitely the future. It's coming. As far as the texture and the look of the paint, it's very similar. A lot of that is most of the guys that I know that are using the water are using the solvent clear on top of it. Rich is one of the I think Rich has tried some of the water-based clear, and I know Milo is one of the only guys I know that's all he uses. So he'd be another, again, good resource for the clear information. Again, he's using it at home, and he's having really good luck. You've all seen Milo's work, and it's top-notch. All these guys I mentioned, they're pretty much at the top of their game, so they're not going to give you bad information. I saw where Matt gave you pretty much the lowdown of why, you know, they went to the water base. Basically what they were doing was targeting the thing that had the most reducer in it, and that's obviously the paint. The reducer is what evaporates and goes into the environment, and it's a solvent, so it has what they call VOCs. Now they do make Matrix has a solvent compliant line, is what they call it, an LV line, and it's 50 state legal. And there are other paint companies that have solvent compliant products too, low VOC, which meet all the EPA standards and the Clean Air Act and all that good stuff. So if it's the environment you're concerned with, there still are solvent-based paints that do meet the requirements. The water's definitely coming, and more and more people will use it. The problem is the things that aren't healthy for us in the shop are the hardeners, like the primer hardener, the hardener for the clear. Anything that activates the paint has isocyanates in it, and they're odorless. You can't smell them, so you don't know when you're being exposed to them. That's why it's real important to change your mask out every 30 days. If you're using a disposable 3M respirator, or if you're using a cartridge type, you know, you need to change those cartridges out, keep it not exposed to air, keep it in a bag, keep it in a cool place, and if you can, the best thing to do is to go with the fresh air system. So I think if I was doing it at home, my personal opinion, and you know, a lot of guys won't like this, but my personal opinion is I would buy all the protection that I could possibly get for myself before I considered making the investment to change the water. I would invest in a good breathing apparatus, or, you know, a good respirator, and protect yourself that way. You're not really spraying enough product to put a dent in the bell curve, I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know, there's so many other things out there that pollute every day other than paint. Paint is just, you know, it's an industry. Everything has to be regulated now, and the stuff we spray is just a way to regulate it. You know, insurance companies tried to monopolize the body business by buying shops and steering cars to their shops, and that didn't work too good. And you know, they're always making adjustments, and this is the adjustment that they're making now, is going green. It is a little bit of an expense, you know. The insurance companies are having a little bit of pushback now. They didn't realize that going green was going to cost them money, and they've had to go up on the amount that they pay per hour. Every hour of labor has an hour of material added to it in the refinishing side of the estimate. So naturally, as the material costs go up, we have to raise that hourly rate. I want to say when I was in the business, it was somewhere in the $12 per hour per refinish hour. You charge $12 an hour per material, and I want to say that's up in the $14 an hour range now, which doesn't seem like a lot, but if you're an insurance company playing out multiple claims a day, that adds up at the end of the year. $2 extra per hour on the refinish side can be quite expensive. So that's my take on it. Go check those 3 guys out that I mentioned: Slotted Jet 883, Refinish Network, Jimbo, and Milo's Garage will probably be your best resource for what you want to do. If you want to try to spray it at home, I think Milo will be your best avenue for some information there, because he's doing it in a pretty similar environment to what you'll be doing it in. And he can tell you more about compressor demand and how he dries it, excites the air and all that stuff. But you guys, if you got knowledge on this and you know a little bit about water, go over and talk to Anthony about it. Let him know what you know about it, and give him your opinion, and let him know if you think that's what he needs to use on his car. He's looking to up his game all the time. Anthony's one of those guys that want to use the latest and greatest, and there's nothing wrong with that, and if you want to help the environment, there's nothing wrong with that either. So the automotive business is pretty dirty. It's come a long way since I was a little kid doing it. They used to have some pretty weird practices. I'm sure some of you have had grandparents that used to change their oil and pour it right in the yard, and we all make a conscious effort to do better than that now, and we got to leave this place sustainable for the next people that live here. So that's what's going on. The water base will be coming here. I'll get some as soon as I can. We just don't carry a lot of it. The warehouse doesn't stock a lot of the aqua-based products, but it's a much more compact system. Although there's 3 paint lines on this mixing system here. We have the MSB, the MPB, the MSB, and the single stage line, and then the FX line also. So I guess there's 4 lines, because I have the candy and all the different custom colors also on here. But that's where I'm at on the water. And as soon as it's available, I'll have it sitting right next to this one. I've been reluctant to go to the low VOC line. I've heard some things about color matching stuff on that from the guys out in California that has some issues. I personally have never tried it, so I don't know. I am using the low VOC clear now, which is it's a step in the green direction for me, I guess. I find that the low VOC stuff, the latest clear that they put out, that MS78, it's not a high solid clear, but it sure does spray really nice. And I think that's the bottom line. As these paint companies bring the water online and start developing the low VOC products, of course, all the development and the money goes into making those products work. So some of the new products are really nice. They work really well, and some of the old products can be hard to put on. Peely, dry. You get runs. And definitely the new paint, the more the technology comes to the market, the easier the product seems to be to use. So I think the water will be the same way. I think it's going to be just like regular base coat. In another 3 or 4 years, we'll be spraying it and not even thinking of the solvent stuff. So, but it takes a while to get rid of all the solvent and switch over to water for sure. So be careful with the isocyanates. I just want to add that, anything with a hardener, your primer, your epoxy, your clear, that's what you need to protect yourself against. It's not so much the reducer. Although the reducer has VOCs and it's bad for the environment, it's not going to kill you like the hardeners and stuff. All right, guys, let me shut this off. Got a lot of cleanup to do today, and I'll try to get this turned back on when I get the shop in some sort of order.